हरे कृष्णा महाराज जी, दंडवत।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी,
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी,
गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी,
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन,
यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन,
यमुना तीरावनचारी,
यमुना तीरा वनचारी,
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल।
नित्य गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद,
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद, गुरुदेव श्रीपाद।
जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद, गुरुदेव श्रीपाद।
जय गुरु महाराज शिला श्रीपाद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। जय जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Prabhuji, you can unmute everyone or allow everyone to unmute. Whoever would like to repeat, please join to repeat.
They are free to do so, Maharaj.
Okay. Yada deveshu vedeshu
यदा देवेषु वेदेषु
goshu vipreshu sadhushu
गोषु विप्रेषु साधुषु
साधुषु
dharme maicha vidveshaha
धर्मे मयि च विद्वेषः
savasu vinasyati।
सवासो
वासु
विनश्यति।
विनश्यति।
Yada Yada deveshu vedeshu
Yada deveshu vedeshu
goshu vipreshu sadhushu
goshu vipreshu sadhushu
dharme maicha vidveshaha
dharme maicha vidveshaha
sava asu vinasyati.
tavasu vinashyati.
Translation: when one is envious of the demigods who represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of the Vedas, which give all knowledge, of the cows, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and religious principles, and ultimately of me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he and his civilization will be vanquished without delay. Please repeat. When one is envious
When one is envious
of the demigods
of the demigods
who represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
who represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
of the Vedas,
of the Vedas,
which give all knowledge,
which give all knowledge,
of the cows,
of the cows,
Brahmanas,
Brahmanas,
Vaishnavas,
Vaishnavas,
and religious principles,
and religious principles,
and ultimately of me,
and ultimately of me,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
he and his civilization
he and his civilization
will be vanquished
will be vanquished
without delay.
without delay.
Text number 28. 28 is also there, na Prabhuji?
Yes, Maharaj.
Nirvairaya prasantaya
Nirvairaya Prashantaya
Prashantaya
swasutaya mahatmane
Vasudaya Mahatmane
Mahatmane
prahradaya yada druhyed
Prahradaya Yada
Ahradaya
Druhyed
Yadha Duhyed
dhanishye api varorja dhanish
Danishe
dhanishye api varorjitam.
Danishe
Danishe Api
Varorjitam.
Varorjitam.
Translation: when Hiranyakashipu teases the great devotee Prahlad, his own son, who is peaceful and sober, and who has no enemy, I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately, despite the benedictions of Brahma. Please repeat. When Hiranyakashipu teases
When Hiranyakashipu teases
the great devotee Prahlada,
the great devotee Prahlada,
his own son,
his own son,
Own son.
who is peaceful and sober,
who is peaceful and sober,
and who has no enemy,
and who has no
Who
enemy,
has no enemy.
I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately,
I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately,
Immediately.
despite the benedictions of Brahma.
despite the benedictions of Brahma.
Brahma.
Quote by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Of all sinful activities, an offense to a pure devotee of Vishnu is the most severe. An offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is disastrous. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has compared it to a mad elephant that enters a garden and causes great havoc by uprooting many plants and trees. Just a minute. One is an offender at the lotus feet of a Brahmana or Vaishnava. His offenses uproot all his auspicious activities. One should therefore very carefully guard against committing Vaishnava parad or offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Here the Lord clearly says that although Hiranyakashipu had received benedictions from Lord Brahma, these benedictions would be null and void as soon as he committed an offense at the lotus feet of Prahlad Maharaj. Don't sir.
Hare Krishna.
Ah,
Yeah. Now the voice is clear.
thank you. Again, the mic was up. A Vaishnava like Prahlad Maharaj is okay. Let me repeat. If one is an offender at the lotus feet of a Brahmana or Vaishnava, his offenses uproot all his auspicious activities. One should therefore very carefully guard against committing Vaishnava parad or offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Here the Lord clearly says that although Hiranyakashipu had received benedictions from Lord Brahma, these benedictions would be null and void as soon as he committed an offense at the lotus feet of Prahlad Maharaj, his own son. A Vaishnava like Prahlad Maharaj is described herein as Nirvaira, having no enemies. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Ajata Satravaha, Santaha Sadavaha, Sadhu Bhushanaha. A devotee has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. A devotee does not create enmity with anyone, but if someone becomes his enemy, that person will be vanquished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite whatever benedictions he may have received from other sources. Hiranyakashipu was certainly enjoying the fruitful results of his austerities. But here, the Lord says that as soon as he committed an offense at the lotus feet of Prahlad Maharaj, he would be ruined. One's longevity, opulence, beauty, education, and whatever else one may possess, as a result of pious activities, cannot protect one if one commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Despite whatever one possesses, if one offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, he will be vanquished. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Shripad ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Yada Deveshu Vedeshu Goshu Vipreshu Sadhushu Dharme Mayicha Vidveshaha Sava Asu Vinasyati. And one is envious of the demigods who represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of the Vedas, which give all knowledge of the cows, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and religious principles, and ultimately of me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he and his civilization will be vanquished without delay. So now the demigods have approached Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu is pacifying the demigods by giving them that for now you have to tolerate, but very soon the problem will be solved. But until then, you have to tolerate it. So this is the nature, or the nature of devotee, that he tolerates an inconvenient situation and waits for the arrangement of the Lord to come out of the situation. So he will not unnecessarily enrage others or put others into difficulty, but he waits for the arrangement of the Lord. And Lord does arrange a situation where the devotee is freed from the difficulties. So that is the most favorite pastime of the Lord, to free the devotees from difficulties, to give pleasure to the devotees. So therefore, one who is truly Krishna conscious, one who is conscious of the Lord, he knows that the Lord will arrange, will protect him under all circumstances. So therefore, he doesn't take to any offensive measures or illegal measures, or we can say inappropriate behavior, or to unwanted means to acquire something or to come out of a difficult situation. So that is the devotee's dependence on the Lord. That's why devotees are called Santa. because they know the verse Bhoktaram Egratavasham Sarvaloka Maheswaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam Gnatva Mam Shantim Rachyati. So this means that those devotees are called Shanta because they are peaceful. And the both are two sides of the same coin. One cannot be peaceful without becoming a devotee. So in all other paths, karma, gnana, whatever it is, but without complete devotion and dedication to the Lord, one will be harboring unwanted things because of which he will become restless. So when one makes one's happiness, pleasure, Atmani eva Atmani santushtaha tasya pragna pratishtataha. So when one places one source of pleasure, happiness, and satisfaction as devotional activities for the pleasure of the Lord, then his intelligence will be fixed, not disturbed, and he will not be disturbed by any of the external forces. So here demigods are also devotees of the Lord. So, and may not be all pure devotees of the Lord, but nevertheless they are devotees of the Lord. And most important, they are obedient to the authority and command of the Lord, or they are working under the command of the Lord. So therefore, it is a duty of the master to protect his subjects. So therefore, demigods become the subjects, direct subjects of the Lord, because they obey the authority of the Lord and conduct the affairs of the universe. So therefore, they become servants of the Lord, direct servants of the Lord. And the duty of the master is to protect his servants. So therefore, demigods are both, they are devotees at the same time, they are also servants, direct servants of the Lord, and they rule the universe on behalf of the Lord. So therefore, they represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they also represent, and if one is envious of the Vedas, so this is what happens. When one is envious of the Supreme Lord, he becomes envious of the demigods, because the demigods are functioning under his authority, under his command. So therefore, one also becomes envious of the demigods, and one also becomes envious of the scriptures, Vedas, because they speak about the Lord and the demigods and sacrifices to the Lord and the demigods. So therefore, one becomes envious of also the Vedas, scriptures, and also those who are teaching those genuine message of the scriptures. They become envious because those teachings will come hindrance to their plans, come hindrance to their authority or their conception of being single person, a supreme person. So they become envious of the scriptures, and they become envious of the cows, the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and religious principles, and ultimately of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when one becomes envious of the demigods, the Vedas, the cows, the Brahmanas, the Vaishnavas, and the religious principles mentioned in the scriptures, they become envious of the Lord. They're already envious of the Lord, and they describe, the scriptures describe also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then all he and his civilization will be vanquished without delay. So So these are very dear to the person who is very envious. Civilization means the kingdom. He and his kingdom will be vanquished without delay. So because the Lord will personally interfere to make sure such person is disciplined for the benefit of that person as well as those who are put into difficulty by that person. So therefore this desha is a very, very dangerous thing. So Hiranyakashipu is helping us to overcome our this enviousness so that whatever we cherish, material things, they remain with us. If one goes and disturbs the devotees or the demigods, then his basic material things that sustain him physically and mentally, or rejuvenate him physically and mentally, they will be vanquished without delay. So therefore, one should be careful of not becoming envious of the demigods. So they should be offered proper respects. Sometimes we may become very hard-hearted towards demigods, or when we visit a demigod temple. No need to be, because a Vaishnava is very humble and he offers respect to everyone. So unnecessarily we should not become hard-hearted to any of the demigods. We can pay respects, but we remain dedicated and devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, and his representative Sri Guru. So this is the general principle. Respect everyone, the demigods and Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, but remain dedicated to the Supreme Lord and Sri Guru. So here the Lord is describing the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. He is going to appear. So here Lord takes the name of the devotee Prahlad also before Prahlad is being born. And Narada Muni gives the name Prahlad to Prahlad in his ashram, where his mother delivered him. So this is very interesting. The Lord taking this name, so therefore Narada Muni knows the name, so therefore the same name that Narada Muni is giving to Prahlad Maharaj. So this name is coming from above. So it is very interesting. So one of the great qualities described here is first word Lord uttered about Prahlad Maharaj, Nirvairaya, Prasantaya. So these are the two words used. Nirvairaya. There is no vaira or confrontation, conflict. He is not in conflict with anyone. So therefore he has no enemies. Prasantaya is completely peaceful, sober and peaceful. So this description of Prahlad Maharaj very aptly also suits to Sripad Maharaj. So he has no enemies. Prahlad Maharaj, he was very peaceful, and he's so peaceful and sober and kind that even the sons of the demons, their heart also could chant the names of the Lord. So that is the potency of a pure devotee. Just by his peacefulness, just by his kindness, compassion, and love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is able to impress, or he is able to touch the hearts of everyone. So therefore he could bring a revolution in the lives of the people. So when Hiranyakashipu troubles Prahlad Maharaj, then I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately, despite the benedictions of Brahma. So here, very interesting situation. Prahlad Maharaj is both son as well as a devotee. So therefore, it is very interesting. On one hand, Hiranyakashipu has the duty to correct, punish, or raise him in proper way. So he has the duty and also authority. But on the other hand, here the Lord says, when he teaches the Prahlad Maharaj, he will be killed. So where is the conflict? Where is the why father would be punished for teasing his son or correcting his son? It's because the father, one should not become a father, teacher, or an authority unless he corrects his subordinates to, or a husband corrects their subordinates to walk in the path of pure devotion. So that is a duty. That is a duty for which the authority has been given. The authority has not been given indiscriminately to do whatever one wants. The authority or the superiority was given to lead the dependents on the path of devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and but not the opposite way. But here Hiranyakashipu is doing exactly the opposite. Prahlad Maharaj is on the path of pure devotion, but Hiranyakashipu is teasing him because of the opposite way. So therefore, it becomes an offense, not otherwise. So if one objects the path of pure devotion or creates disturbance, then he becomes the offender. But if one is trying to promote one to pure devotion, if Hiranyakashipu had done correction to Prahlad Maharaj to make him better devotee, then this would not have been happened. But what he has done here is to stop his devotion, which is not what a father is supposed to do. And secondly, he is so much envious of the Supreme Lord, so therefore the same enviousness transfers to Prahlad Maharaj, though he is a son. So therefore, he tortured Prahlad Maharaj. A boy of 5 years old, he sometimes can be shown a cane, but he cannot be physically injured. So for that age of Prahlad Maharaj, what Hiranyakashipu did is very, very abominable and beyond humanness, or what you can say, beyond what is permitted, or it is very much condemned. So therefore, Hiranyakashipu, on one he is going in the opposite direction, and another he is going to the extremes with a small boy, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is a very small boy. So he is going in the opposite direction and punishing him. So he becomes an offender of a Vaishnava. So it's because he is against the principles of Vedas, scriptures. So it appears like these two verses, the verses before and this, they're talking about Bhagavata, book Bhagavata and the person Bhagavata. Right? Book Bhagavata is giving the message to completely become a pure devotee and completely dedicate to him, freeing oneself from the entanglements of family, society, friends, all. So therefore, if one becomes envious of those instructions because of one's own position, or to protect one's own position, then he becomes envious of the devotee Bhagavata, like Prahlad Maharaj. So therefore, then that becomes a offense. So Srila Prabhupada is very nicely giving reference to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that this Vaishnava Aparadhi is like a mad elephant that has entered into our tender garden. Our bhakti is very, very tender now. So therefore, if we put an elephant in the tender garden, so that all will be destroyed. So therefore, we should be very careful to guard against committing Vaishnava Aparadha. So for that matter, why offense to anyone? Actually, a devotee is not offensive to anyone. So Srila Prabhupada referring to Srimad Bhagavatam, expressing the similar qualities of a devotee. Ajata Satravaha, Santaha, Sadavaha, Sadhu Bhushanaha. So he has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. So these are the qualities, and if you read these qualities, appears like describing our Gurudev Srila Sripad. He has no enemies. Some people may be thinking, maybe acting inimical towards him, but he never acted inimical to anybody. So, and Shanta, completely peaceful, even amidst of great difficulties. He is peaceful and depending on the Lord and carrying on his service. Sadhavaha Sadhu Bhushanaha. So, Srila Sripad is Sadhu Bhushanaha. He is ornament of Vaishnavas. And all these qualities are ornaments of a sadhu. So a devotee does not create enmity with anyone. So Prahlad Maharaj's qualities and Sripad Maharaj's qualities, they are matching. So Srila Prabhupada himself gave the certificate that Swarup Damodar is such a nice devotee. He does not make enemies. He only makes friends. So therefore, but still there are some people acting inimically because it is not fault on the part of the devotee who is trying to help everyone. But still in due course of time, some people become inimical because intentionally or unintentionally, their interests are affected or their aspirations are affected. So therefore they act inimically. But a devotee is peaceful. If one becomes his enemy, that person will be vanquished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, despite whatever benedictions he may have received from other sources. So this we should be very, very careful. If you become inimical with a devotee, if you become so we undertake many unfair means, unwanted means, and so what happens? The Supreme Lord will personally make sure that you will lose whatever benedictions he received from other sources, like his past karma or some other people are giving us or benedicting us. They all will be vanquished. So therefore, Hiranyakashipu, who is enjoying the fruits of his austerity from Lord Brahma, so he will be vanquished, no doubt. So here Srila Prabhupada finally quotes, one's longevity, opulence, beauty, education, and whatever else one may possess as a result of pious activities cannot protect one if one commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. So don't think that by offending a Vaishnava only my bhakti will be spoiled or I will lose my bhakti. So we are not so offended when we lose bhakti. Right? But here, there are other things that we care very much. What is that? Longevity, health, opulence, beauty, education, power, possession, whatever else. So they all will be vanquished. So by committing a Vaishnava Aparadha, not only bhakti is lost, also whatever material opulence that we get in devotional or spiritual journey also may be affected. So therefore, one should be very careful about offending a Vaishnava and try to depend on the mercy of the Lord. So that is and accept whatever is obtained by the arrangement of the Lord and the destiny. So in that way, one can be peaceful. Otherwise, if one is very ambitious, he become very restless, and he lose his peace, and also unnecessarily put others into anxiety, and also disturb Vaishnavas who are pure, like Prahlad Maharaj and others who are doing their seva. So it becomes a disturbance, and that may cut the roots of our both spiritual and material opulences. So we should not play around with the Vaishnavas. Should remain humble and in the service mode. Otherwise, everything will be lost. Whatever you cherish in your heart, that will be gone. So that is the purport Srila Prabhupada is trying to impress upon us, that not only devotion but also material opulence will be lost. Hare Krishna. Any questions are there? Kindly come forward.
Hare Krishna Maharaji, thank you for this nice and wonderful class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise the hand and ask His Holiness Bhakti Maharaji. Yeah, Maharaji, we have 2 hands raised already. Yes, Haripal Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Maharaj.
Dandot Pranam Haripal Prabhuji.
Thank you for wonderful class. Of course, I could not attend completely. Question is, suppose we have offended somebody who was not devotee, and later on he becomes a devotee, very good devotee. So is that counted as a Vaishnava Aparadha, or what sort of?
Hare Krishna. You want the answer of Sripad Maharaj?
Yes.
Everyone is a Vaishnava.
Okay. So that means we should not. That means it is aparadha is always Vaishnava aparadha.
Yes, we have to assume everyone is a Vaishnava, and everyone is a Vaishnava. To think somebody is non-devotee also, we may not have knowledge. First of all, right? He may be a devotee, we don't know. Just because he's not wearing tilak, just because he doesn't have a kantimala, we cannot conclude he's not a devotee. So in original sense, everyone is a servant of the Lord. So therefore, everyone is a Vaishnava. So therefore, we should not commit offense to anybody.
And Maharaj, one more question.
Mm.
This Vaishnava aparadha destroys our bhakti completely, or it's only restrict or stops for further progress? So what kind of?
Yeah. So whatever we do in devotion is never lost. So it is temporarily, but the temporary could be, we don't know on what scale. It could be earthly scale, or it is on some higher planetary scale. It could be very long for us. So therefore, Yeah, whatever we do, it will be there. It will again, we'll start from where we left off. But we should be very, very wary of Vaishnava Parad. If one is if one is humble and knows what is his jurisdiction, then one will not commit offense. So therefore, we should know what is my jurisdiction in all my activities and thinking, and also in my relationships with others. So in that case, there won't be any aparad. But in general, devotee is shantaha. So when we commit a offense, when we become ashanta, right? So the very fact that we are committing offense, which means that we are not devotee first.
Yeah.
So devotee means remain peaceful, even in the atmosphere of provocation, for the pleasure of the Lord and Guru. So that is the consciousness of a devotee, Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if one is in the self-consciousness, absorbed in the thoughts of self, or thoughts of ambitious position or ambitious goals for his own. So, but if he is not mindful of Guru and Krishna, so therefore he make an offense, because he is unable to maintain his peace. So we should not offend anybody. And in fact, by such attitude, even if somebody is not so serious in devotion, he will become very serious by seeing a peaceful devotee. Because everybody is searching for peace. But only place they will find is in the heart of a devotee, in the face of a devotee, the peace. So therefore, when they find it, they also get inspired. So therefore, we should always remain peaceful in all circumstances. Then, that is a sadhubhushanaha. That is the ornament of a Vaishnava. Humility is the ornament of a Vaishnava. So therefore, this is the best preaching instrument is this sadhubhushana, the ornament of a Vaishnava, which is humility and all these qualities of all this peacefulness. So if you remain peace, people will find peace and they become devotees. If they have not yet become serious, they become serious. So the onus is on us also to maintain composure and pursue the path of pure devotion. Pure devotion means dependence on the Lord. But if one makes one's own plans and takes unfair means and follow, that is not very appreciated. And we will fall in the category of Hiranyakashipu, because we will soon end up offending Vaishnava. Haripad Prabhuji, that is okay? Did that
Thank you,
answer?
Maharaj. Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Nilmada Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna, it's Radha Govinda Roshan. Maharaj, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Maharaj, my question is very, I just want to ask that Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee. So I have heard that a pure devotee's families get liberation and mercy of Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj's father was Hiranyakashipu. So is like, what was his, he also got liberated. But I just want to know in that terms, like as a father of pure devotee, can you comment what was he got the mercy of Lord? But in that sense, what do you think? Please comment on this.
See, Vaishnava is so glorious. Even after becoming so envious, 2 words Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was praying to Narasimhadev to to forgive his father. Then Narasimhadev himself has told this, that many of your generations before and after you, they all will be liberated. Don't worry, be just by your pure devotion. So that is the magnanimity of a Vaishnava. And Hiranyakashipu, anyway, he is a liberated person. He is an associate of the Lord. So he has taken this role of a demon or a person who is envious of the Lord. So he has to teach us. Right? It is like sometimes our in our center, sometimes we have drama, right? For example, our Srikant Prabhu sometimes makes drama. So there is Krishna role, there is Balram role, there is Gopas. Then there are roles of Kamsa and Dantavakra and other demons. So who will play that? Everybody will be interested to play the role of Krishna, right? Krishna or good roles. But a play won't be a play unless all characters are there. Then only it will give message to the people. So who will take the negative roles? Those who are very really close, close with Srikant Prabhuji, or who want to please even by having to play the negative roles. So therefore, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, they are all associates of the Lord, but they are taking negative roles for the pleasure of the Lord. Because to bring the glories of pure devotee like Prahlad, and to show if one is envious to the Lord and the devotees, then what kind of misfortune one gets. It is a lesson Hiranyakashipu and Lord and Prahlad Maharaj, they are enacting for our benefit. So they are all liberated. Hiranyakashipu is also liberated, Prahlad Maharaj is also liberated. But they are enacting this for our pleasure under the direction of the Lord. Lord is the director, right? So the Lord is directed. Okay, what you want to play? You want to play seven plays, 7 dramas, my devotee, or 3 dramas, my enemy? Because during that training and all, you have to stay away from me. So Hiranyakashipu, they have chosen, Jaya Vijay have chosen to take negative roles, because that is a special service, right? There are pleasant services, there are difficult services. So those who are very dear, they take sometimes difficult sevas. So therefore, Hiranyakashipu took the difficult seva. So then, in order to fulfill his role, Lord gives him forgetfulness of his remembrance of the Lord. Then one forgets that remembrance, one becomes what Hiranyakashipu is. So therefore, it is very important to remember the Lord. Forgetting Krishna, we fallen souls, paying most heavy illusions toll. So if one forgets Krishna, then he is on the way to become Hiranyakashipu. So therefore, we should always remember Krishna, never forget him. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That's what you are expecting? Is that answer or anything you are looking for?
Yeah, Maharaj, just that thing, like if in material world, if some father or his family member is envious of his child who is a devotee, then what is the fate of that family of child father? Like his child is a devotee, is going to be a devotee, but so just a small comment from your side.
That all depends on the Lord, but very much the path of Hiranyakashipu. He may be punished, he may be also rewarded. He may be punished for his behavior towards the devotee, because he's supposed to make devotee, but instead of making devotee, he's making the son is son or daughter is trying to become a devotee, but he's reversing. So therefore, he may have to face some punishment for his neglecting duty, not only neglecting the duty, but acting against in the opposite way. But at the same time, if the son becomes a serious devotee, he will also get the benefits of his pure devotion. So there is no doubt about that.
Okay, Dandot Maharaj Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna Maharaj, we have one more question by your Mita Mataji. Mataji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Is this
Mataji, your voice is a bit low.
congregation? I need to I just want to know about the congregation. Is that we can hear from one person and same way we can go for other person for pravachan? I'm not asking the other people but only in the ISKCON or BI or anything. Is that Vaishnava Aparad? Is that comes in Vaishnava Aparad?
It's listening to other people.
Listening to other people. If I'm listening to you and if I'm listening to the same ISKCON people, if I'm listening to the other BI,
Yeah,
so
no,
does
no,
it come in Vaishnava Aparad or?
no, that will not come under Vaishnava Aparad. That is nice. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. As long as this class is for the glorification of the Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, we can hear. No problem.
Thank you. I got the answer. And one more question is just now you were explaining about this the role played by Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Same way I want to know about this when Kunti Devi and Draupadi are Mahapativrata, so even Ahalya is also Mahapativrata. Why they consider why they got to marry 5 people? Hiranyaksha sister Praheti or she married to the 10 people. So what is the exact way how to explain to the Mayavadis when they ask even in years Kunti Devi she married and Draupadi married to the 5 people, and even though they called as Mahapativratas, why they played this role, all the 5 people, Pandavas played this role. What is that behind part of it?
Okay, thank you for your question. So in the Vedic tradition, it is not prohibited to marry more than one. But generally one marries only one. But marriage in general is by the order of a superior. So marriage is done as a service. Like when the parents ask the child, or when the Lord asks. So this marriage is done when the superiors request. So that is how the Vedic culture is. So therefore, marriage, our view of marriage and the Vedic view of marriage is different. So marriage is a service which is taken up by the order of the superiors. Service and responsibility. In the case of Draupadi, she was instructed by Krishna to marry 5. Right? Draupadi actually wanted to marry Krishna. But Krishna said, you marry Pandavas. So therefore, there comes. So Draupadi, she's a real devotee, nice devotee. The devotee means one who is disposed to do what the beloved wants, what pleases the beloved, not what pleases oneself. So therefore, though Draupadi would like to marry Krishna, but because Krishna wants her to marry Pandavas, she happily accepted or heavily accepted, with heavy heart or happy heart, both at the same time. So therefore, Draupadi's marrying 5 is not because of her desires, material desires, but by the order of the Lord himself. So therefore, her purpose of marriage is not for enjoyment, but for fulfilling higher authorities. So therefore, she is serving to her best capacity all her husbands, fulfilling her duties. So therefore, she is a great Pativrata. So even after marrying 5, she is a great Pativrata. But even after marrying 1, if one is not properly situated, one may not be called a Pativrata. So it is the mood of the service. So therefore, Draupadi's mood is to serve Krishna, that is to serve Pandavas, and she never failed in her duties. So our whole idea of marriage is different in Vedic. So that is the whole point of the Vedas, that when things are done for the pleasure of the Lord and higher authorities, happiness is already there. Happiness will be there. But it only out of ignorance one does only for enjoyment. Enjoyment is already there. But one who acts for the enjoyment is called Krupana Falahetava, is a miser. In the human form of life, the happiness, material happiness, which anyway will come, to waste our life and pursue the material happiness is a kind of ignorance, right? That which is given for free, why to work from morning to evening? Just an example. So, similarly, the marriage, the marital happiness is already there, but that is not the purpose one marries. One marries for fulfilling the orders of the superior. So, that is how all the Vedic marriages are done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, anyone else would like to ask any question? If so, please come forward. Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so in this episode, it is observed that Prahlad Maharaj is very small when compared to Hiranyakashipu in age, but Hiranyakashipu is at the receiving end of the offense. So how come, I mean, how we can understand the dynamics of offense like?
Yeah, this is offense because he's going against his dharma. Father's dharma is to make son devotee, not obstruct the devotee. Though he is superior, because he neglects his duty, he will be punished. Even a king is to protect the citizens. But if he plunders the citizens, harass the citizens, then the king will be punished also. So therefore, those who are, on one hand, the superiors, they have the authority to correct and sometimes discipline, but they should also be careful to not have ulterior motives, because they will be punished. Ulterior motives against the devotional principles. That is an offense, that becomes an offense. So Hiranyakashipu is doing the opposite. So therefore he will be in the receiving end.
Thank you, Maharaji. We have a question by our Srikant Prabhu, if I'm not wrong, in chat. Why did Lord not punish Hiranyakashipu with his very first offense against Prahlad Maharaj?
So why at the first instance? Yeah, that is not how the Lord operates. this is something to do with the free will, that Lord gives chances also. There will be many reasons also. If Lord just comes and stops Hiranyakasipu at the very first instance, how would he have known the glories of Prahlad Maharaj? Would he have known the glories of Prahlad Maharaj? So Prahlad Maharaj represents, even amidst of such disturbances, how one should depend on the Supreme Lord. That is also teaching for all of us. So if Lord comes and stops in the very first instance, then what should we learn? What we will learn? We will learn nothing. So that is one thing. Another thing is Hiranyakashipu also has free will. Lord gives chances to correct. And if Lord stops every act of us, then we no longer can survive as a spirit soul. We become a material particle which has no independence. So within the given circumstances and lifespan and time, so one is given some time for reflecting, correcting, or some chances are given. It is not that. But at the same time, Lord also protecting Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing is working against Prahlad Maharaj. So Lord has no worry. Whatever Hiranyakashipu does, nothing will happen to Prahlad Maharaj. That he will make sure. So similarly, in our case also, if there is some aggression towards us, if you are dependent on the Lord, the person may commit aggression for some time, but he will not be able to do anything if we remain saintly and depend on the Lord. So that is the lesson. So they are coming here to teach us a lesson. How will we drama over in the first scene itself, right? So drama will go on for some time, so that we learn from both Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu, and also the Lord.
Thank you, Maharaji. Yeah, there are no further questions, Maharaji. So shall we conclude?
Yes, thank you all for joining and for your nice blessings and blessings. Yantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai,
Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki,
Jai,
Guru Maharaj Shila Shripad ki jai.
Jai.
Samasta Bhakta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Rajpat Maharaj ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.